Because the worst thing about making a big sale is what? You just lost your best prospect. Even if that
business with this guy. His name's Bradley. He's out of Mobile, Alabama.
Oh, yeah! We had a chamber board meeting and they do a really good job.
That's awesome. So do you get nervous with speaking engagements?
If this was a group of insurance agents, I would not be nervous at all. However, if it was a group of insurance agents, I wouldn't have even prepared. I would be more uncomfortable with a group of my friends than a group of strangers. That's
I'm not sure, but if he's in his office there.
this sort of deal that I had.
For what?
We lunch when I was in here, right?
Oh, yeah, if there's one happening today, yeah.
This is probably like right there has a table and everything.
Cool.
2017, he was named the #1 insurance personality on Snapchat by the Wall Street Journal, which is amazing.
We'll tell the backstory
Yeah. You want to tell it?
after you get done.
All right. Bradley's the co-founder of the Mobile Young Entrepreneurs Group, which hosts networking events and encourages local entrepreneurs to chase their dreams. Bradley is also the co-host of the Insurance Guys podcast, a marketing podcast that we found on iTunes and Spotify. And in other words, Bradley is everywhere
Try
you
to.
look. So,
Thank you. So the Wall Street Journal, don't try to find that, everybody, because it's not there. They actually called me and told me that, and like a week later, Snapchat went public. So all the talks went from how to market on Snapchat to when Snapchat going out of business, as far as the Wall Street Journal goes. So that article's nowhere to be found. They did say that though. So
swear.
Allegedly.
Swear. Matter of fact, when she told me, I said, please stop right now. Let me go to my Facebook bio and put that in there. Anyway, Kyle asked me to be here today. Yeah, like I said, I'm an insurance agent. I'm not going to try to sell you insurance today, because there's enough of them in the room. But I've built my business on really two things. One is social media, which we may touch on, but we're not really going to talk about today. And the other thing was networking. And networking in the most patient way possible, building long-term relationships with people. So that's sort of what we're going to touch on today. One thing that Kyle told me when we were kind of talking about this was, a lot of people, they go to a networking event, they get a business card, they want to make that person a client, but they have no idea what the heck to do from there. And most people either go one of two ways. They either are too lax and end up not making the person a client, or they're too hard on the front end. So obviously every situation is different, but I'm going to at least go through my process, what I do, what I tell people to do as far as making clients out of relationships, relationship building. So as far as that goes, step one, put your face on everything. I'm kidding, that's a joke.
But it works.
But it works. I gave this presentation to my wife last night. This is my wife right here, Laurel. I gave this presentation to her, and by the end of it, she was like, "Oh my God, please don't say prospecting ever again." Because everything that I do in our business goes back to prospecting. It's my belief that in most cases, prospecting solves all your problems. If you're low on sales or you're bad on sales, get more prospects. If you are not that great at sales, but you have all the prospects in the world or more prospects than the next guy, you're eventually going to figure out how to do it, all right? So everything goes back to prospecting. Obviously, networking events are a really great way to do that. So that's kind of beginning here. Good prospecting makes up for bad sales techniques, but bad sales techniques do not make up for bad prospecting. In other words, or good sales techniques do not make up for bad prospecting. In other words, you can be great at sales, but if you don't have prospects, you're not going to do as good as the guy who's got a bunch of prospects. So prospecting can make up for sales, but sales cannot make up for bad prospecting. Always be prospecting. That's the last time I'm going to hopefully talk about that. The reason I put this in here is one thing that I do. So I got asked to speak to a group of about 40 insurance agents in Mobile and Baldwin County about a month ago. And I had to give one tip. And I literally walked around my office for 45 minutes trying to think, what in the world is the one tip I'm going to give? And one thing that I do that is kind of different is I sort of trick myself into, I'm more excited when I put a prospect in my pipeline than when I make a sale. Because the worst thing about making a big sale is what? You just lost your best prospect. Even if that person is not technically your best prospect, the person that wants to buy today is going to be your best prospect. So the worst thing about making a sale is you just lost your best prospect and now you have to go replace them. So I'm constantly prospecting. I'm constantly rewarding myself more for putting that prospect in my pipeline than actually making that sale. So going to the next slide. This is what I try to do. Now, obviously, we don't accomplish this. Who knows Grant Cardone? Anybody follow Grant Cardone? Okay, we'll touch on a little bit of Grant Cardone stuff. But this is one thing that he says is have 10 deals working for every deal that you want. You know, if I put a really, really good potential prospect in my pipeline, I immediately go try to find another one. I want to have big, big, big problems, and I want to have so many appointments in a day, so many people I'm working on, so many deals that I'm working on, that if one falls through, you can probably attest to this, if one falls through, you're like, good, my day just got freed up. You know? I want to be so busy and have so many different people that I'm working on that it really doesn't matter. We had somebody last week, a big case I was working on, that canceled, but it freed me up to go tackle these other 9 people that I'm working on. So this isn't, we don't accomplish this on a regular basis. That's what we shoot for. We're going to shoot for as many people in our pipeline as we can. All right, I get that out of the way. Everybody good with that? Okay. Ways to prospect. Obviously, there's many different ways. Networking, Facebook, online lead generation. We're going to focus on networking today, as I touched on in the beginning. Networking events. Don't be that guy. Anybody know what that guy is? That guy right there. So I used to be that guy for a brief period of time. I'm going to tell a few stories today, and I tend to talk a little fast and I get long-winded, so if you need to stop me and you go back, I will. Let me know. Right when I started, which was 2013, I went to a formation meeting for a BNI group. And I literally was so underprepared and was not good at all at networking or building relationships or anything. I had no idea what to do. And I think a lot of people do that. You know, they meet somebody at a networking event, shake hands, hey, what do you do? The next step is I'm going to shove that business card in your face. Am I right? A friend of mine went to a networking event one time that doesn't go to them much, and he came back and he's like, holy crap, I feel like I just walked in the Shark Tank with a bunch of sharks and business cards. Like, and I went to this networking event. I met a guy who was a CPA, and he was kind of a CFO for hire. And we shook hands, I introduced myself, and I handed him my business card. But if you've been to a BNI meeting, you sit down, and then everybody has to stand up and give a spiel about what their business is, that sort of thing. And if you've been to the first meeting of a forming BNI group, you sort of have to validate yourself because there's multiple businesses for the same category in that room. And this guy stands up and he says, you know, I love BNI because it gives me an outlet to have a marketing team, you know, of different businesses that we send business to each other. And I hate going to networking events and people shove their business card in my face and it's almost off-putting. And this guy said this and I'm like, holy crap, he's talking about me, I just did that. And so from that point on, I was like, okay, I'm going to figure out how to do this the relationship way versus that.
That makes sense.
That was the purpose of me saying, maybe we should split it up.
No, that's fine. That is just fine. No, that's, you're not in the shot, but you're still in the shot.
Right. I made a video. I put one in Laurel's car, and I had that song by Sting. I will be watching you. This is,
Everywhere I
this
go.
is a one-way, and I'm act like I'm gonna turn. So I'm gonna back up. Don't get the insurance man getting in trouble by the law.
We will have documentation.